Recording live on YouTube. Let's get it.
Right now, this should be private. Nobody should be able to see this. Let me make sure.
Okay. No teppers.
All right, man, family, welcome. I'm with the brother Panic right now.
No teppers.
Let me turn this down. Hold on.
Yeah, she is.
All right. Yeah, I'm with the brother
Okay.
Panic family. I'm so happy to have this brother share some awesome information with y'all. I want to thank everybody who's signing up to the workshop. I believe it is a time. You know how in the video games, Panic, when like they when they do something, they get these superpowers. I feel like when we learn how to tap into this Kundalini energy, that's our superpower. You know what I'm saying? We become this meta human, as some people call them. Give me a sec. Panic, you there? I get you.
Yeah. Can
Okay,
you hear me? Yeah, I'm
okay,
here. I hear
yeah.
you well.
Okay, great, great. So one thing you've always was able to do and successful at, my brother, was divert your energy inward. A lot of people, they have this problem where their energy goes everywhere, and by the end of the day, they're weak.
Right.
You, my brother, you could talk for 7 hours. Some people
Right.
can't talk for 20 minutes and they tired.
Right. There
So
you go.
there's some type of in it. And I believe if they let you, you might go on for 10 hours, brother.
Yeah,
So
we've done it. We've it's being a lean went for 9 and change, and actually I cut it off. We talked hours after that. We just it wouldn't be what most would want to hear. But yeah, you're right. I never even thought about it like that.
yeah.
That's where that energy comes from. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they tell us we to get the light from food and it's trapped sunlight in food, but there's something much greater than food, a
Oh
source,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and that's within. So, I believe this is the perfect time. There was this video with Bobby talking about, it's called Kundalini global warming. And
Right.
it was like they're gonna try to contain all of y'all, but when shit looks bad, I'm gonna send you the video on Instagram. He was like, when
Hmm.
it looks bad, something's going, that Kundalini's rising, things is going on inside of you.
Right. Right. Because that's what those who seek to control you
Uh,
on their top 10 list
mm,
of scariness, for
right.
you to have that realization and understand the power that you need comes from within and not from a social system or a social structure that's going to save you. A social scenario may help to relieve, but the true goal before there was any social idea was a cosmic goal that you needed to complete for coming here. And that is wrapped up in what we call chi, prana, Uraeus energy, Kundalini energy, or that kind of that stuff, that life force that makes shit happen. And the Hindus call that Shakti. And how they describe Shakti as a goddess, because when they deify an energy or deify a scenario. In fact, that's why we deified scenarios, to try to give you the glorified, respectable understanding of what that energy is. So there is a goddess named Kundalini
Mm,
in Hindu mythology. So the Kundalini energy that we're about to discuss and how it relates and how we have access to it, how it shows up every day and how we can increase it, has actually been deified for easier, palatable definition of what it is.
right.
And if you by the goddess Kundalini.
Oh, the guy. Okay, okay.
And but if you go back to what they call primal energy, now
Mm,
primal is the energy before humanity gets involved in it. So Kali is the primal version of Durga. So though Durga is still adorned, beautified, and mounted on her lion or tiger, she's tiger.
mm,
And so it makes it human, more human, and more palatable. Whereas when you look at Kali, she's not supposed to be a human entity. So by human standard, that's why she's destructive, because for your human idea of yourself, that primal energy knows nothing about it. Humanity is nothing more than a collection of moral behavior. And that moral behavior, you know, be kind to your neighbor, pull your seat out, pull a chair out for a lady, open the door, salute your brothers, shake a man's hand, look in his eye. All that crap is an invention based upon humanity to make this human system move. The spiritual system that moves, we need to understand that aspect, because that's what relates to the inner work. Your humanity is what you put out and show to the world. What's happening on the inside is totally destroyed for us, because we no longer have an understanding, healthy respect on how to look in the inside into what to look for. One of the basic things, because there's many things to look for, one of the systems to look for, one of the most important is the concept of Kundalini and your chakra system. So where it stays around in your face, obvious, is in Hindu mythology. So we're using the Sanskrit word chakras, but there's another Egyptian word that's special, Shemrak Shatnakrak Im Akrak Heru, you know, some shit that means chakra. So the concept is worldwide understanding in our occult study. So where it's stuck the most when you hear the words chakra, Kundalini, is because that study came over in New Age, and they talk about it in New Age because it can't be denied. So first, before we get to the inner work and things you could do and you could start, we're still at this point, I want to point out how important the understanding in the world of Kundalini is by way of movies. In movies, one of the first things you learn in the occult is that, well, the first thing you learn in the occult is that you're searching for that which is not apparent. So what is apparent is that of human behavior. So you're pretty much opposed to human behavior, not you hate it, you're in another gang. You're opposed to it because when you truly deal and embrace the occult science, you're evolving beyond it. So you're not shitting on it because you're human and you're stupid. You're like, I know anything I do from my human perspective will be a shortcoming. So if I get together with a bunch of smart humans and we start an economic plan, how to kill a white man plan, how to do this for Black people plan, is limited without your inner work, without your inner knowing or your inner guidance to help you push forward. Because what we really need is a new human system. We're trying to make magic out of your enemy's system. How the fuck can you be a genius economist in your enemy's system? It doesn't even add up. No more than you're going to be a fucking genius to take over the world if you go to a white college or a Black college. The system is not ours. The economic system that we're trying to conquer and win at is not ours. What is ours will always resonate in our heart as well.
Panic, you froze.
What's happening out here based upon what's coming in our heart. You froze a little bit going because it still records. So it'll still get me in the recording.
Right.
It happens in my class. So as long as I hear my voice, it was still going. You were froze on my end, but we'll be fine.
Okay.
So, and I kept going. All right, so based upon what was in our heart is how we ordered our moral system, how we dealt with each other. And this because the cue came from the inner self. The cues now for how we deal with each other is based upon dysfunction, based upon being ex-slaves, ex-colonized. This won't fly. So when you truly understand about Kundalini, more than something you do, when you meditate, you understand that it is the basic life force energy aspect of your soul, which is the divine light from the original source, which, for lack of a better thing, you can call God, not no fucking creator. The creator is that which made this matrix, and there's plenty of information I can point you to that says the creator is not your friend. So all these conscious people saying, oh, the creator, because you're trying to say something better than God and Jesus, is just giving an alternative name for the same demiurge energy that put you here. We are beyond creation. That's called chaos. Chaos is not just a thing than creation. Chaos is before creation. Chaos represents kinetic energy or potential energy, energy that's stored up like a capacitor that has the potential to be anything. That's who you are. That's why you can create and think of anything down here by going, because you're going into chaos. Those are chaos vehicles. Even the word duh, you know what I'm saying? That is a chaos. You're actually going into the chaos to bring it into creation. Creation is a later thing, and God is a title, not a destination. I'm God because I can create any reality I want down here. That's what makes me a God. That's what makes you a God. You have created. Tell me what penny you hurt for. Tell me what thing you can't get, God. Get what I'm saying? You don't. If you are in lack, you do not have that title down here. That's the reality of it. We just say be gods because having melanin, Kundalini, and a pineal gives you the potential, gives you the stuff for a Cadillac. But just because you got the stuff for a Cadillac, if it's in your garage and you ain't doing the town up, you know what I'm saying, whipping around, then you're not doing nothing. So we settled on we all gods because we have what it takes. But if you're doing what they're doing down here, you're not a god. You're a human. A god on earth divorces himself from humanity. God and human ain't the same thing. They don't mix. You graduate, and while you're still on earth, you're God 7. You're master of the 7 seas. Once you master the 7 chakras, which we're going to get into, you are God 7. That's why the 5%ers use 7 as the mark of God. Because once you sail these 7 seas and master it, as the traveler, as the sailor, you know what I'm saying? Once you do that and master it, you have the title of God because you no longer can be manipulated emotionally. All right, we're going to get into how folks could start dealing with their chakra system, understanding the basics, and it's such a detailed study, we'd be here for those 10 hours that we talked about. So what I'm going to do is have to point you to a lot of information. There are a gazillion chakra books because, like I said, it got picked up by mainstream New Agers. So there's always, just like crystal books, there's 1,000. So if you want a chakra book, it's simple. Find them yourself. Look for anything that says basic chakra. Chakra for beginners. What are the chakras? There's chakras for dummies. Look for that first. And then it should have a bibliography that will lead you to find your own study. In other words, you don't have to say, Panic, what book should I get? At this point, you should have a taste for finding your own books, because that's the point anyway, and you might as well start now. Basic chakra magic, chakra magic for beginners. What are the chakras? How to learn chakras? Look for something like that on Amazon. That's where I would say with books. Now, my book, I do a thorough chakra understanding. And I do it this way and for this reason. Over the years, all the chakra things and questions that I heard from many people, what they want to know, and so many misinformation. Like, I've heard people say, and I want you to think about this for a second, Rich. You probably heard people say, are my chakras open or closed? And all the time. How could your chakras be closed? That's a misinformation thing. For instance, every single emotion that you can possibly have or haven't even had yet belongs to a chakra. So if you have emotions, how can your chakra be closed? Either it's closed and you don't have any emotions, or it's open and you don't know how to control your emotions, which is where we have most people. All you have to do is kill a Black person by police, and we'll show you the state of your chakras. Can you look at that shit stone face? Not because you don't have compassion, but because you made the vow not to be manipulated through those means. So me making that vow and making that understanding is why when Trayvon Martin got killed, you'll hear Bobby and myself say things like, don't react, don't go crazy. I understand what you're feeling. I understand that feeling. It's not like I don't care about this young Black mind, this divine whatever, but I also know death. And I know death is not an end. And I know this is not his end. I know this is actually better off. But let's say we don't even understand that. I still made a personal vow based upon my understanding to not let someone like George Zimmerman get me emotionally invested, because to emotionally manipulate and invest in and molest you, to manipulate, to deceive you, to control you, because it's not just all negative emotions. We talking, they can control you through commercialing through your chakras. In fact, if we were to talk about the most sinister thing they're doing, every single commercial in movies have chakra manipulating music or colors. Let's get the basics. You have 7 basic chakras. You have over 200 and something. I've seen. Let me get the book. Actually, let me get this book. Give me 1 second, Rich. Right here.
All right, brother.
Give me 1 second.
All right.
All right. Damn, I should have prepared this early. I didn't even think about books, but I found 3 books that are great. First and foremost, if this is starting to get your interest and this is what you want, no home should be without this basic Kundalini book here. It's called Kundalini, The Arousal of Inner Energy by Magick Mukherjee, A-J-I-T, this is his first name. Last name, Mookerjee. This is a wonderful rendition. And I'm sure if I was in class, most people would be like, I got it, Peng, I got it, because it's such a standard. And this is actually a thin version. It used to be thicker, but it's a beautiful book full of images and color pages. You know what I'm saying? Real detail, no Chinese, right to the point about what Kundalini is. Now, this book here is a must-have, I think, too, because as I pointed out, and we're going to get into it deeper about primal energy, Shakti energy. That's what we started talking about. And I know I skip around a lot, so, you know, you got to keep me on point sometime. We started to talk about Shakti energy. We talked about Durga versus Kali, about primal versus later day energy. So the goddess Kundalini is the later day version of this primal Shakti. Shakti energy, this book is called Shakti, Realm of the Divine Mother, by Vanamali, Vanamali. One word, Shakti, Realm of the Divine Mother. What the Hindu mythology would say, all the goddesses are the Shakti energies of their consort. So though there's a goddess Shakti, they would describe all goddesses as Shakti. Let me get one more book for you, Rich. I got you. Is this okay?
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Let me get one book because these books are coming to mind. I want to show you this.
All right.
Shakti energy, keep me there.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. All right, so Shakti energy represents the life force in all these gods, these deities. So they're telling you, first of all, that says why they characterize it in goddess form is so you can understand the nature of the energy. So that tells us what? Kundalini energy is what? Feminine nature.
Right.
The whole marriage is a Kundalini ritual. Shiva, in the mythology, Shiva is in the mountains, sleeping on the mountain high. Shakti is at the base of the mountain. She reaches Shiva, wakes him up. What they're talking about is Shiva is your pineal gland. You always hear in the mythology Shiva destroying the third worlds. They keep the number 3 with him. He's the creator, sustainer, and destroyer. He's always has this trinity around him. He's the pineal gland. You get what I'm saying? He's the pineal gland. Well, they put the hypothalamus, pineal, and pituitary together sometime as a trinity. Yeah. Or the third ventricle, or the third eye. So that number 3, and you know, Shiva destroys the third dimension, because this represents like the illusionary reflection of it. It's a whole nother thing. I don't want to keep going off to the side. I'm going to keep on this subject. But the idea that the man is already at the altar, and then the woman walks up that aisle, which represents the spine, and meets him at the altar, and they become this divine union, is a Shiva Shakti ritual. And that Shiva Shakti ritual is a Kundalini pineal ritual, because the idea is your pineal gland, which is in your third ventricle here, for it to get an abundance of melanin, there's an energy that must meet it at the top. And that's called Kundalini or Shakti. And that energy resides at the base of your spine, sleep, or they represent as a coiled snake. So that's why in Hindu mythology, in the basket, there's a snake, they blow the flute, and the snake comes out representing enlightenment, raised Kundalini, or the mastery of life force energy. For instance, the movie Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, when they went to the mountains, there was a scene where the lady was controlling the snake with her hand. He was like, yo, how you do that? He said, that's the advanced shit. what it was symbolizing is her representing of the life force energy. We symbolize, even in Egypt, the snake as the life force energy, as electricity, or as just life force. You know, you get it, as Kundalini, as Shakti was represented as a snake. We called it Uraeus energy. And at the top of the crown, you would sometimes see the snake there because it represented that same flute awakened snake, that same dragon, the sleeping dragon that's now awoke. All of that is symbolic of your Kundalini energy. Your Kundalini energy at the base of your back is the sleeping dragon. The Kundalini at the base of your back is that deadly snake. You know what I'm saying? And when it hits here, the venom is called melanin. You get what I'm saying? So this represents the snake with the apple in his mouth, the dragon with the pearl in his mouth. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of shit that just keeps pointing to this. In my book, as I was starting to speak, I did a chakra chapter. And in that chapter, I broke down the movie, The Wizard of Oz, step by step, and walked you through the Kundalini path. What's the Kundalini path? Well, though I said you had 209 chakras, those are mostly represented as acupressure and acupuncture point. You know, your funny bone, your reflexes, all of those are chakras. But let's deal with the 7 major chakras that are represented by the same 7 colors of the rainbow. In fact, sunset, I don't know what that is. And as the rainbow, in that rainbow and pot of gold type thing, leprechaun, that pot of gold represents the pineal. At the end of the rainbow, or at the end of the rainbow is here. This is the pot of gold. All this is symbolizing this. As I said, Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory is another Kundalini story. Chronicles of Riddick, Jason Bourne is Jesus Bourne. They did a lot of stuff in there. I mean, movies, there's a movie called Cellular. The dude who plays one of the superheroes, the one who played the fire guy in Fantastic Four, the Torch, the Human Torch, that actor was in it with Kim Basinger. And it was so, me and Tef went to see it. It was so ridiculously corny and shockery that we used to laugh at it. M. Night Shyamalan in The Village is a chakra. You'll see, I'll give it to you. First of all, the rainbow colors in your chakra colors, the 7 that we're talking about, considered the major 7: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. In fact, you are trapped in that light prison. Your eyes cannot see ultraviolet.
Yeah.
Your eyes cannot see infrared. The first color you can see is red. Just below red is infrared. That's what remote controls use. Ultraviolet, shit. In fact, why ask why? Because hold on, this shit fell. All right, and I didn't pick it up. Here we go. Let me plug this in. Okay. This now is an ultraviolet light. This light you can buy now to clean your shit off. You should get it anyway. All you have to do is wave it over whatever and it cleans. Not because of no COVID, which we're going to talk about too a little bit. Not because of that, just because you don't want to be a dirty motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But your eyes will be burning like you look directly into the sun if you clean your face. So turning an ultraviolet light on looks like this. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can get anything going here where you can. So this is actually cleaning all bacteria right now. You can find these online. This is 11 watts or whatever it is. But this is an ultraviolet light. And you'll see them in the club more. You see them against your shirt and you'll see all this lint. Like I can see it here. It's not coming across on camera. But you want one of those. You can see it light, but your eyes see more detail when you use it. So we could see the light the same way you could look in a mirror and see a infrared light or certain infrared lights that are brighter than your remote. you could see it, but the essence of what it does is out of your range, kind of. So like when you go in the club, you can see lint and cracks, and that's what they put on your face when they're trying to sell you something to clean your face. Look at all the real dirt that's there when we add the ultraviolet. So your eyeballs are stuck between there. In mythology, I can't even remember which one this is at this point. It's an African one I remember reading where they said like that 7-band frequency of chakra light actually got caught in this realm, which is us. We actually, it's just a part of us. Other parts of our light has left. So we are working with this 7-band short stack of light, which, you know, because we're actually trapped here. That 7-band was joined with the symbolic 353 other degrees of light, which the third eye can see, all seeing eye. You get what I'm saying? So these eyes aren't all seeing, this one is. So they do a lot about this 7-band chakra light system you in. It's not imaginary. It shows up over and over all over the world. So let's get that. This is not one source that we're pulling from. Now, I do want to get this. This is a book, Bobby Hemmett. We were in East West Books. Does that still exist? On 23rd, Rich?
Yeah.
East West?
They changed the name.
Okay. Okay. So we were, you know, I've been gone for like 11 years. So East West Books, we were there, and, you know, I bought a stack of shit. Bobby's like, yo, get this book. Nigga, I'll get it later. He said, I'm buying this for you. Is that important? And that's this. It's called Kundalini Aghora 2. So there's a number 1 by Robert E. Svoboda, Svoboda, S-V-O-B-O-D-A. Svoboda, it looks like. Robert E. Svoboda, S-V-O-B-O-D-A. Kundalini Aghora, A-G-H-O-R-A 2. Looks like this. Excellent. I might have even did a lecture out of it. This shit is all yellow. So this is a good Kundalini understanding. Now, this guy here is what I went to get the second time. William Henry. Regular old white fella who's stealing our shit, no doubt. But he does a good job of explaining it in an ABC form, and a good job of explaining it in ABC form in his books. And it is big. One of his most famous book is this. I don't have it. It's called Clones of the Illuminati. Clones of the Illuminati by William Henry. He also made, and this is what I had, Mary Magdalene, the Illuminator, the Woman Who Enlightened Christ by William Henry. And I'm going to tell you why he did that. This book was after the book I really want to show you that you must get. He also did this after the Mary Magdalene, Star Walkers, Dimensions of the Blessed. Explore, Experience, and Express, William Henry. And Bobby really wanted me to get this book. I can't remember why, but there was something in here that was really good. Okay, but this is the book by the same author, White Boy Who Steals Our Shit, William Henry, that was real revealing, real interesting. Like, I had incredible breakthroughs. It's called Oracle of the Illuminati. Coincidence, Creation, Contact by William Henry. I like him. He steals our shit, no doubt. But I like him because he just explains shit in plain shit. So for the new reader, William Henry is the guy that will expand your occult understanding a little bit wider. He does make things obvious. Like, he'll say the word amor, A-M-O-R. He says, spell that shit backwards. R-O-M-A, Roma. He said Rome is the opposite of the love in its very essence. He said they named it the opposite of love. Their word for love is amora, Rome. I'm like, God damn, like he's just catching shit out there. regular white understanding, but it's simple. He's not trying to be deep. So anybody knew, I don't want this white boy to be looked over if you're really in a study. William Henry. Now, Oracle of the Illuminati talks about the divine feminine and its absolute role in your consciousness. You cannot be conscious without her. In fact, he breaks down, that's the story of Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Why Mary, which is coming from Vishnu's mythology, when Mary Magdalene takes her hair and washes Jesus's feet, is representing she's taking her divine feminine consciousness and waking up his root chakra. Because the root chakra not only starts from the crotch, it extends through the legs, as the throat chakra goes through the shoulders and the arms. Because remember, you were once a baby that was a ball. This shit grew out of your chakras, out of your system. So your throat chakra is expression. So that's why your arms are there to express and give to the world. Your feet, of course, are granted to the floor, the root. So he talks about that importance. He's also talked about the pillar of Meru in Samaria and how they recreated that shit at the Nashville Mall, which me and Khadijah went to. And he shows overhead views. It's like, boom. So he's practical. But in this book, he really goes in on the green Tara. And he goes in on a lot of mythology where he's exposing the divine feminine's role, which is the same Kundalini concept. So in the human spirituality, and I know this to be real because when I first was getting in the conscious game and hanging out with, because Shabazz was my man, it was easy to hang out with Bobby. So he would bring them, and I actually wasn't even conscious enough to even care at the point. We would all hang out. So when I was becoming more and more interested, more and more conscious, and more, what made me like Bobby, that motherfucker is just a fucking real nigga. Like, I'm fancy New York nigga. So he's like, Bobby's gonna come out here, right? And we gonna he said, right, and it's not like I'm telling you now you don't know. But Bobby's gonna come out here. I said, we gonna go get something to eat. So I'm thinking, I'm suiting up. So we go to fucking Kennedy's Chicken, you know what I'm saying, in the car. So Bobby ordered some baby shrimp. And we eating the shit in the car. I'm with that shit too. But the way that nigga was sucking them shrimp, my nigga, like, when you eat the bite and then there's that shell part near the tail, when I seen that nigga getting all of that meat out, that nigga was cutting into it, I said, that's a real motherfucker right there. Then I started liking him. Then with the jokes we were doing, he was so with it. And then he was doing the jokes that we was doing in the lecture. I liked him. And then we started talking more and more and more. And early on, we were in the car one time. I'm like, yeah, nigga, I'm about to get on Black Planet. Look for every chick with an onk on her page, nigga. Conscious fucking. And so Bobby's like, yeah, get a conscious freak, nigga. And once you get a conscious chick, nigga, and you see, because I had it, and when I did that, see, that's going to happen. And I'm like, yeah, nigga, yeah. So after we really got tight, though, after the wall kind of went down and, hundreds of hours of phone conversation, a nigga had a heart-to-heart and said, find you a woman. I'm like, but pussy, find you a woman. So maybe 2 years after thinking he's on some Barry White shit, Khadijah. And the game is a different game. And you had your queen for quite some time. So I'm preaching to the choir, but it must be said. And I had read this already, but I now personally understand the divine feminine's role in consciousness. Because in the end, as you pointed out in the beginning, this is about an inner look. And no one on this planet has made me look deeper inside myself than Khadijah. That's the nature of the relationship. I can't front for her. You know what I'm saying? I can't front on her or in front of her. she knows who and what I am, and when something's wrong, out of whack, or I need to address. So she can tell me that subliminal, subconscious, invisible trauma that hides in the darkness that needs to be brought into the light. And I do the same for her. And I totally get it. If you're truly trying to understand the nature of yourself, you need an expert with you. You know what I'm saying? An expert. She's an expert in panic, and I am an expert in Khadijah. You get what I'm saying? Down to the facial expression. And I'm sure, you know, those who are with theirs know what I mean. I'm not saying nothing new. And it got me to understand what they were saying about all of these consorts and the consort's role. So all of these, you know, you get this statement behind every good man is a good, behind every man is a good woman and all that. When you read the occult origins of that, you'll understand why it's so necessary for that real last leg of your understanding of self, for you to have that divine other. And these books back that up, and they're only repeating our shit. Now, so William Henry is a must, and this Shakti energy has been talked about through mythology as the most important thing that can happen to you. And they told you in story, feminine form. But when you get to the science, you're talking about there's a docile cosmic life force energy in all of us. And that can be awakened many ways. The most, okay, let's start with this. Meditation is how all this is done. Beyond technique for meditation that you may have heard, most people don't really discuss the purpose of it. And that's a big deal, because my father taught me to meditate when I was 5. No, I'm sorry, 8. And, you know, he gave up on all the kids, but I just kept meditating. It's something I just kept in my regimen. The ability just to close my eyes, but as a kid, he never explained the purpose. I remember him saying, well, it makes you sharper, makes you smarter, makes you whatever, you'll know more. All right, you don't understand that as a kid. So I remember that, and that by the time I was 16, none of that shit, or at least I felt none of it was happening. What was happening though, I would close my eyes all the time and the scene would start pulsating like it was alive. And I noticed it would be it was a noticeable before and after. So at age 16, Dad, I've been meditating. That shit ain't doing nothing. The nigga dropped the cigarette. Fuck, you still do? I said, yeah, since you told me. I said, almost every day. He said, what in the fuck? I said, yeah, I just kept doing it. As a kid, it was just something I thought I had to do now. So I kept doing it. I said, but when I closed my eyes, that nigga said, what? He said, that's called alpha state. I said, what's that? He said, well, you have brain waves. And as we're talking now, you and I are in beta. You may be in alpha though. You know how to zone. But that's concentrate. Right under beta, your focus is alpha. That happens on long drives. You're on a highway. You zone out, all of a sudden you wake up, you're in your hood or you're at your house. You zoned out, but you didn't crash, because alpha state, you're there, but you're not there. That's the meditative mind. So each meditative mind is trying to get there and pause. What happens when you do that? Beta interrupts. Hey, nigga, the fire. Hey, nigga, the ice. Hey, nigga, the phone. Hey, nigga, hey, nigga, hey, nigga. So when people are saying there's too much chatter, there's too much this, what's really happening is they're trying to go into alpha and they just keep popping into their thinking. So they don't know, they haven't done techniques, which I'll share in meditation, that knows how to stay in the moment. So I knew at that point, I didn't know, but I knew how to stay in the fucking moment after goddamn near 10, whatever years it was. So he was like, so then he shared this with me. And this kind of thing changed my idea of meditation which I hope it does for most people, because most people have an ignorant understanding of it. So that's why they don't know how to do it. But they do know how to do it. You're doing it already. You're just not giving yourself the credit because you don't know. Like me, I expected cannons to come out the air, but it's not that. All right, so he told me next, which changed my idea, was he said, yo, he was an old school dude. So most old school dudes, their book said, if you meditate and you don't come back, another spirit could jump into you. So you don't see that in books no more. That's why we don't hear that now. But if it was still in books, panic, can another spirit jump into you? Get what I'm saying? But that was his era. He said, instead of trying to be quiet and in Zen and go home, you New York old school. So remember the trains in the 70s, in the 80s? They quiet now compared to that shit. They were tin cans niggas was on there with earplugs. Yeah, remember, they used to wear earplugs. He said he used to meditate to that noise instead of trying to close it out. Different game. So now I would meditate on the train. I can meditate, Rich, in motherfucking the middle of Madison Square Garden during the middle of fucking playoffs and not be gone. I can be gone. I go to the barbershop and meditate. I could feel them tap. Is my turn. I cannot open my eyes like that. I'm gone. I'm way beyond alpha, way beyond theta. I go into delta and have full awareness. But that's like exercise. So I'm gonna tell y'all how to start where I started and keep going. That exercise is there for you, and it's even easier now because of what's happening cosmically for us. Listen, I want to say this because I don't want to run out of time. We running it now. White people gave it up. This is ours. We just don't know it yet. Listen, don't let me not talk about what's going on, Rich. I really should have started with we're going to talk about that crap shit, lives matter. I need to at least speak on it with you. All right, but I do want to get you, keep me with time. So I know, so I could get there. All right, so it allowed me to be able to come into an understanding, because by the time I
Yo, panic. Video froze, family.
Information. More. All right. We're back. Let me see my you can hear me? Can you hear me, Rich?
Yeah, you now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we got a bump, but we're back. All right. So where we left off, so I was saying that Bobby Hemmett explained to me, don't be a guy who just repeats what's in a book. Stand in front of the camera and just say shit and sound fucking deep. You know what I'm saying? If I sit there, you gotta be real. If I say it takes 406,399 trigger bytes until the melanin is affected by dark light in a hue setting of 4.7.3. You know I ain't come up with that shit in my lab. I'm repeating what's in a book. Why don't I just say, Rich, I know you can read. You can read about that number in here. So you got charlatans sitting in front of the cameras just repeating shit. They're not even repeating books. They're repeating other motherfucking YouTube lectures. You get what I'm saying? And what Bobby Hemmett integrity showed me from day one is never be that. And to never be that, you must be able to manifest breakthroughs. So you cannot fake. You cannot fake the funk. You have to be real with it, because the breakthroughs that people will feel it in their heart if it's real, and you can't it doesn't come out your brain. So if it comes out your brain, it's bullshit. If it comes from your heart, it is what it is. And people could judge that for that reality, and you'll see who becomes the fad. This is all Bobby talk to me. You know what I'm saying? All Bobby training. I just didn't even realize he was training me all that time. But now I see it because of how things have gone. So breakthroughs. So I realized over the years that when I started to study the subconscious, New York City is see, I grew up in Queensbridge, and if you ever been in Queensbridge, we live under a bridge and by the water. You constantly hear the bridge. It is a mellow, lovely sound. If I'm in the hood visiting a friend, I'm going to sleep on their couch just because of those nurturing sounds I heard forever. From 1968, all my life, you hear that, da-doom, da-doom. In fact, there was a nigga who still lived in my hood, my nigga Low. I'm like, yeah, the bridge. And then I said, it's so calm. He said, what noise? I said, listen. He's like, fuck. He said, yeah, it's always there. You don't notice no more. So that subconscious thing is happening. And when you, and I noticed when you would try to shut that out for that Zen, you're really making it harder for your subconscious mind. When my subconscious mind hears those sounds and can meditate to those sounds, that's what it's used to doing to become invisible, because it makes that stuff invisible. So it thinks to become invisible because when it hears those sounds, that's its cue to become invisible. So meditating to those sounds, I was able to zone out. So therefore, I'll tell people, because they may not have that bridge, meditate to music, because, you know, they're trying to do this and they're trying to count and they're trying to breathe. I said, no. Put on your headphones loud. And I said, stay in the moment. See that person performing for you from song beginning to end. Your only goal is to visualize with so much detail, you're not sure if you were there or not, because your subconscious mind does not know the difference. And if it doesn't know the difference, the only reason it wouldn't, if you keep thinking your way out of it. So you have to stay in the vision. What changes your subconscious mind? Symbols, repetition, and trauma. Visualization is symbolization. So when you symbolize what it is you want through the visualization, staying in the moment, you start to create for your subconscious mind that reality. And your subconscious mind doesn't think. It does based upon its programming. So if you're successfully programming that reality, it's nothing you think about. I've programmed myself, and you have. I was going to say whether you know or not, but I think you know. You have programmed your subconscious mind. When's the last time you thought about how to get money? I got to do that. I got to do this. But you never are without it. Never, if you're that guy, because I program my subconscious mind to do that work without me noticing it. And if you're always like, if you feel lucky, it's really cause and effect, but that ignorance is really synchronicity, but let's call it what humans call it. Luck, coincidence, just so happened, oh yeah, and those things are actually cause and effect. We just think they're happenstance, accidents, and just so happens and all that shit. No such thing. So it looks like to the human being, damn, Panic is always lucky. He's always got, you know that when he was in high school, he always gets the girl. He always has the sneakers. He always that. And he's like, I don't know how to, he always gets the touchdown. Then there was the other crew. He never get no pussy. He never do that. It ain't gonna be me. All of that is just programming. And it's either through repetition, trauma, somebody beat that shit in your ass or scared it into you, or you constantly kept falling. So you said, I guess I'm clumsy. So I'm clumsy. And because you repetitionally kept tripping and didn't say, well, let me get some new shoes instead of saying I'm clumsy. Or symbols, you've seen it all your life, all around you, or your peers, and you do it. You've seen a lot of niggas with Nikes. Mommy, can I have Nikes? You get what I'm saying? Symbols. These things are what create your reality. And if you ain't doing any of that, you ain't doing shit. Just making up your mind to do some shit ain't it. Making up your mind to leave the church ain't it. Going in and dealing with the repetition, the trauma, and the symbols that they put in by adding that which is greater through the same method is how you deal with it. So this motherfucker game is over. And right now is where we need to be. So in terms of meditation, into your chakra work, into your spirituality. All right, so now I think I gave you enough background and outside. Let's get down to it. So you first, one more thing, meditation. What my father taught me when I was 8 years old, you could start here. He said for me to think of an apple, something I touched quite a few times. He said, feel it with your mind, feel it in how it will feel. Visualize that, think about it, how it would taste. All 5 senses, experience that apple in your mind. Do it till you know it. Hear it crunch. That's the sound of it. Roll it in your hands. And something so simple is a thought, especially a kid, can stay with for a long time. Something you should be able to, not you, but people should be able. Then a banana, then think of your bike, a bike, then your bike, then something more and more and more complex. What you're trying to do is stay in the moment. You get what I'm saying? And in fact, that's what my herb pack always has done for folks. Keep them in that moment. Because that's the point. What I'm telling you is one of my big life breakthroughs that got me here to the point where I was able to do a lot of this. My meditative mind was fucking on 100 by accident. Not really by accident, but human by accident, but by my divine choice, preparing myself for this day. To be able to tell you, oh, no. Your mind is a fucking, since this Beetlejuice light has hit us, we running this. We don't know it. Listen, Rich, you ready for the exclusive? I got it. I know we're supposed to be talking about, I'm going to give you this exclusive. Rich only gets the exclusive. This is breakthrough shit. You got to take it for what it's worth because it's a channel. So who was it that came through and started telling me this shit? And I know the channel. I'm trying to think of who the channel was. Malcolm X came through and told me a lot. I shared a lot of that recently because my channel has been crazy. The mushrooms, the weed. I like who you want. But who was telling me this? Oh, no. I kept grinding in my own head. What happens when you fucking die? I just keep going over everything. Keep. So I'm pushing this question. And when you do that, you start to create a vortex. So now me and B.O.B. on the phone, could be that. But remember the Gnostic said, so we're creating this big vortex, then the channel hit me like a ton of bricks. Listen, you ever see a nebula? They show you it, which is pretty much a cluster of baby stars. I think that's what it is, called a nebula. But they'll show you, these are new stars being born, right? Those new stars are just sleep. And they are sleeping and dreaming on Earth. Those are actually the Earthlings. This is the dream. Those that we're actually looking in our own head when we're looking cosmically. So those things are symbolic of it. So that a new nebula is symbolic of us. Well, actually not us, but people. The young ones who are Christians and just can't hear nothing you say. Think about this. I got you. You about to get it, nigga. Okay. The movie Mockingbird, what's that? What's the girl, the Mockingjay? Hunger Games, Divergent series, and The Maze is all, even though there are 3 movies of each, it's all one story. All one story. That shit is about COVID, planet Earth. That they dropped that in there in The Maze, but it's really about the maze being planet Earth, the demiurge, all of that same story of what we are doing here, the real ancient reason and the ancient understanding. What came through was, they say that every man is a star, right? And so like this sun here, you earn planets around you. So each of these men are a potential star, but being a star, you have to get to that level, right? This star is a level. You can't just, because you will create what this dream is for real. In fact, I need you to understand that's why we're in this dream. So when we get out into the real world, we don't make this ourselves. You got to have a nasty human. I don't want to get ahead. I'm gonna take you there. It's gonna fuck with you, Rich. This is gonna make you think. Okay. I'm trying to give it. It's a channel, so I'm trying to organize it and make it sound competent, because I could take niggas. They might not go there. Okay. Let's say I'm a star, but I know I am. And me and Khadijah, and they'll tell you most system has 2 stars. Right. That's me and Khadijah. Right. 2 stars. When we have kids, it ain't like our babies and we're gonna nurture them and breastfeed them. We're not human beings with bodies. We only can make a reflection of our light. And if it's a new reflection, a baby in that context, it doesn't understand its own mind yet. Because it doesn't have a mind that needs to grow. It has a chip off the old block. Me and Khadijah, our androgynous union, made this new baby with the same mind as us, but doesn't know how to use it. They show that in all a few of the Star Trek episodes. This baby god running all of this shit and don't know shit. That's a thing. So what if the old gods, like me and Khadijah for our babies, and not just me and Khadijah, all star systems for our babies, created a place where they can learn, a nursery. Whereas soon as they're born, whatever is coming out of their mind is born, and their question of it is called a personality. And then they come out to Earth to answer that question. And they go through many lifetimes doing all of this shit, answering their own question and seeing, because life, the Egyptians will tell you there's nobody that says this is the greatest place to be or you should be here. Everything in mythology is how to die and never come back, how to move on, in other words, or how to graduate from here. Graduate. You also heard many times, this is a school, right? This is a school. This is a nursery school. So what if we created, like the movie Total Recall, a place where when we create new light, we send them here. They're actually just sleeping in that same nebula in the nursery, but their minds are going through this illusionary time thing as it manifests as many lifetimes, where they're learning, all they're really learning is their lesson through this ancient thing called a human, which doesn't mean nothing. It's just a thing. Now, here's the channel that started coming through. The graduation is the 5th dimension. Go back. I started telling niggas, the channel started going and watch Men in Black 3. In Men in Black 3, it's all about the COVID and what's going to happen to niggas. Listen. They said the alien, first of all, the movie's about them getting this ArcNet over the planet and covering the planet so it won't be invaded, planet Earth. So back then they had to do it in 1968, the moon launching. It was the first thing going out of space. They did it, blah, blah, blah. That was the movie. So the ArcNet was talking about the 5G shield. That was that. In it, they meet this alien. This is how they introduce him. His name is such and such. Listen, he's from the 5th dimension. He can see parallel universes all at once. So Now we know that Brother Rich, every choice you could possibly make, there's a parallel Rich who has made that choice. It's a life you don't have to live. You're living as rich as we know it. You're doing this. All those parallel riches are adding up somewhere as data. Who and for what for? Because when Rich graduates out the nursery to the fifth dimension, he's able, just like that alien they showed in Men in Black 3, he's able to look at all Rich merit parallel lives and pick the best one. You're actually perfecting Rich now in your mind. You're not having to live the lives anymore because you graduated out of the nursery. So in the fifth dimension, they say in the movie, they wasn't describing an alien, they were describing what the fifth dimension was. Because all these conscious niggas who keep talking about the fifth dimension, no one says, well, this is what's going to happen. They just said, it's better than here. Let's go to the fifth dimension. And I'm like, no. Let's find, what is that? And my visualization has been crazy. So when me and Aline did it, I started saying, yo, Men in Black 3 is about it. I got to see it. We was in a hotel on my birthday. The shit is on. Let's watch it, Khadijah. Boom, watched it. And when they was describing the dude, these powers on a lower level is what was happening. I was telling niggas on my visualization, my recall of vagina is exquisite. I remember every nuance of a vagina. You know how you have to get more pussy to remember pussy? Right. You're like, that's why you need more pussy, because I forgot pussy. Yeah. So I remember pussy, all pussy. I know how any woman orgasms. I learned that in psychomancy. Now it's ridiculous. Any woman I can look, I know their orgasm. I know what their nipples look like. It's insane. Your mind stretches. Y'all niggas, I hear so much limit in niggas' heads when they talk. When they talk to me, even about their success, it sounds so limit. And that's really your bane. Ain't got nothing to do with economics, white man, or what you eat, GMO, chemtrails. The very nature is limiting. And it takes cultivation, Rich, for that. You can't teach that. And I see niggas trying to teach those who are, because that's not what's happening here. They have to learn it to able to graduate. Now, it's not just a nursery. Recruiters come down here, Rich. Now this shit got interesting. Recruiters come down here and put out a word, and those who hear it are able to come back to their system with them. For instance, remember the movie Inception? She was the builder. He was showing her, yep, we're in the dream world. You built that, you did that. She said, well, who are all these people? He said, well, you fill this world up with your subconscious mind. Also watch the movie Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where the father's name is fucking Ego. And he creates this demiurge planet. He'll explain that lonely God syndrome thing that the creator is going through, which is, excellent demiurge movie. And I'll keep going on for days. All right, so I noticed I've been feeling these powers. These powers have been coming on and mildly, but it was the same description of this dude, which made me say they're describing the fifth dimension. So that's a graduate thing. So these recruiters, such as Khadijah and myself, come down. How do I know that? I know it because of the channel, but years before I was even really conscious, I was with a research girl, got a reading, and he started telling me the reason I came to the planet. I had no idea what the fuck this guy was talking about. He said, you came here to teach thousands, and you will. Thousands of what? Computers? Had no clue what he was talking about. He said, you was in the higher realms chilling. He said, somebody asked you to come down. You didn't want to do it, but you came back down and did it. Later on, when I channeled, it was Bobby who asked me to come down. It was the Pleiades star system, and me and Khadijah already had a star system, and we filled it with our subconscious mind. And with our mind, we visualize whatever scenario we choose. That's what heaven is. That's what heaven is. And you can come here to get more, because it's an Akashic thing. It's a light collection thing. Let's look at it that way. So we, okay, I'm trying to keep it in this thing. So we came as recruiters, and you can recruit. This is babies, new energy to your realm, where they can still learn more and then move on to become their own son. Let's just say that. It's all a training thing. But for us, it's like, because one of the first things I used to have visions when I was leaving. I was moving in a whirlwind, and I was bringing just some people from here with me. So the recruitment is, I'm thinking I'm trying to save Black people. Then the spirit said, no, you and Khadijah came down here to recruit some Black people to come home with you, because we're advanced beings who've already created a heaven. So if you stuck down here in this nursery trying to get out, somebody has to bring you into a heaven. How do you know you want to go in that heaven? Because Panic been talking for 10 years about what his heaven is. Yo, we do this, that's how we roll. And know something? Red Pill and them been talking about their shit. That's why we ain't talking about the same thing, because we have our, that's what in other words, some of the gods come back to recruit. That's why certain people are conscious, and there's a whole bunch of people who needs much more life. Those are the real babies, and this thing will constantly stay broke. It's never going to be fixed. It's the dream. You walk into the dream at the same point. Do we even get that? Like, when have you ever started a dream from, oh, I just woke up and now it's my whole dream? You're always, they said it in Inception, you're always there. They ain't no nothing. This is a dream. And it's a dream that people keep going through because it's the illusion of misery. And if these light beings who are young go out into the universe and start creating without knowing what they experienced in their mind here as this illusion or this dream of what they could be, if the ego and things that we fight against here get involved, they I guess shit could get out of balance or whatever. So this is the recruitment. Fifth dimension is where you go and let's say you live 10 lives. So, well, Rich alone has created millions upon zillions or whatever number of parallel riches just in rich. So in the fifth dimension, instead of living them, you can do math, and you can do it like mathematics and put it together and say that all of these choices made the best risk. He was doing that in the movie Men in Black 3. Unless it's this choice, unless it's that choice, unless it's this choice. So you could do that kind of shit. Watch that shit. Men in Black 3. It was crazy. And once you perfect rich or whatever lives you have, when you move forward, that's like add to your resume. You have a process of perfection, and isn't God perfection? Because this is still in the realm of creation, and we still talking like creation. He will be perfection. You know what I'm saying? Or chaos being whatever new light you're going to become, because then there's the dark sun. So however you want to call it. So it kind of made me see a vision of what it is, and even some of the sinister ideas of this place. It maybe had to re-question that, because maybe it's just all a part of that illusion too. You get what I'm saying? And it's really about a graduation thing. So we came down to this motherfucker, and I'm gonna get there. And how long we got to end on the chakras?
We got about 30 more minutes left.
Okay, I'll get you there.
Okay.
And so I think overall, like I said, channels are channels. You got to take them for what they're worth. And and really, I don't really share channels like this is what's happening, people. I'm telling you prophecy because I teach for you or those to do it for themselves and find out for themselves and ask themselves. The only person I try to convince is myself. It's the only person I have convinced. If nobody, I'm not trying to get no one to believe it. Just interesting because I do channel hard. You know what I'm saying? And I also do chakra work. This you niggas need to do. So I don't know if you have to edit that in some sort of way because we talked about some.
That was flowing. You know, you was flowing on that. You good on that.
Okay. All right. Just, I don't want to, because I know it's a workshop, so I want to keep on the subject. All right. So what I've learned in how I deal with chakras is, once you get, like I said, the Apple meditation, that once you kind of feel good with that, I said, do music if you have a problem with that. Once you feel you can spend more of your time thinking of the one thing, you're just really trying to isolate random thoughts. The more you do that, it's all like exercise, the stronger you get. Like I said, I could zone the fuck out. I could be talking to you now and go right into alpha state. Easy. Wow. Zone the fuck out. I can meditate and talk. I did old classes in meditation. I got, this shit is funny. Look, I'm sleeping. I'd be like, yeah. They be like, what the fuck is going on with panic? A whole class, like 6-7 hours. But so once you kind of feel you're making progress with that, like I said, exclaim it, take it. That's what the phrase fake it till you make it mean. Fake it till you make it means. Fake it till you make it means just tell yourself you're doing it. And remember, the subconscious mind is not a judge. So if you keep telling it you're doing it, the subconscious mind is going to say, okay, I guess he is. You know what I'm saying? So you can lie to yourself and say that's it. And that's how, because it can't tell the difference. So you can tell yourself whatever. The black man is the winner every time. Tell it that. And that's what you'll see. You get what I'm saying? And that's what you'll be. So all the mind calisthenics that I just told you would not work if your chakras weren't in order. So let me explain this quite simply. There's no open closed chakra. Your chakra is either understimulated, overstimulated, or balanced. Because there is a shitload of emotions with an understimulated root chakra, a shitload of normalcy with a balanced root chakra, and a whole shitload of emotions with an overstimulated chakra. So no one's chakra is closed. It's just too much or too little. So root chakra deals with home and your root. It's color. The color is red. Sometimes beneath it, where the legs are, they'll have it as black or brown. Brown representing the earth that you step on, but red representing even later, Satan being red, of course, was representing the root chakra. He was not really a red thing with horns. Now, this deals with your home life. So let's say you're a baby. The questions like, did your mother have a bed for you? Did she breastfeed? Were you warm enough? Were you have enough blanket? When you cried, did people pick you up? Did they tell you you were beautiful? Did they look you in the eye? All of those connections are developing your root chakra. The deficiency in things like that can add for you this missing thing. I mean, in my book, I tell you everything from a. Let me go get my book. Let's go. You got time, Rich? All right. It's right here. I know where it's at. I know where one's at. All right, we'll just end it on, some of the chakra stuff. Some of the chakra stuff I talked about in here, I think will take us through. Okay, root chakra, the lower collective. Let me see. I think Healthy root chakra. Okay. I think I'm right on the page. All right. So a healthy root chakra. So this is a balanced root chakra. You're grounded, centered, belonging, pride, fully alive, healthy, able to trust, independent, determined, true, trust in self and others. Excuse me. Secure, patient, constant, ambitious, passionate, committed, unlimited physical energy, can easily manifest abundance and survival. That's if your chakra, your root chakra, is balanced. Now, let's say you have too much energy in the root chakra. You're greedy, egotistical, domineering, bossy, addicted to wealth, highly strung, hyperactive, sadistic, sexual energy, entirely gentle, addicted to self, violent, disobedient, cunning. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not gentle, entirely genital. So you're all about that pussy, all about that dick. Too little energy in the root chakra. So if you have any of these symptoms, you may need to up that energy, and I'll tell you how. Can't reach goals, lack of confidence, feels unloved, feels unlovable, not grounded, deficient energy, lacks confidence, suicidal, weak-willed, feels sexually inadequate, little interest in sex, misogynistic, fearful, frustrated, alienated, sees self as being separate from everyone else. So there's very specific, as you can see, in all three characteristics. And that's why I said I get what niggas would need. But I got to give credit. People do rave about it. So I can't act like you need to see, I was trying to tell you niggas. But no, people do say they love it. But in my joint, I go through all of that. So you can identify yourself. And then the next thing I talk about, and this is still on the root chakra, illnesses that are related to the root chakra. So if you have any of these illnesses, that's because you didn't do the right thing with your chakras. That's how powerful your chakras are. They can cause your illnesses, or your emotions are the beginning of your illness, because you take the E off and you got the word motion. Emotions is how it's your inner motion. It's your spirit that asks for it to happen. So your emotions are your inner motion, and it causes sickness. So illnesses related to an out of whack root chakra, drug addictions, anemia, cancer, arthritis, heart disease, gynecological problems, herpes, weight problems, hemorrhoids, degenerative arthritis, knee troubles, sciatica. Those are all illnesses that may be because of lifelong root chakra neglect. That's why you must deal with this. Glands, organs located in the root chakra, adrenals, kidneys, spinal column, colon, legs, bones, spine, blood, bladder, testes, and the vagina. Gems and minerals for the root chakra: ruby, garnet, bloodstone, red jasper, black tourmaline, obsidian, smoky quartz, hematite, black onyx, and jasper. Essential oils for the root chakra: celery sage, rosemary, cedarwood, clove, frankincense, rosewood, cypress, marjoram. I think I'm pronouncing that marjoram. Yeah, marjoram, myrrh, black pepper, ginger. Deities for the root chakra: Brahma, Dakini, Ganesha, Kubera, Uma, Lakshmi, Prasini, Gaia, Persephone, Urdia, Urda. I think it's, yeah, Urda. Anat, Sertawin, Geb, Hades, Atlas. Boom. So, and for each of the 7 chakras, each has I went through all of them in that detail. So one other thing for an occult guy to understand, I guess, you know, we can end on this, is the understanding of how to separate the 3 lower chakras, the heart as the gateway, and then the 3 upper chakras. That's an occult science. That's something that I explain to folks so you can understand occult way of thinking a little bit better. The 3 lower chakras have everything to do with your humanity. And your chakras are impacted and shift, or something happens every 7 years. So that's why you couldn't get into the mystery system till you were 50, because
wasn't it 40? Was it 40 or 50?
50.
Man.
That was called the 50 gates. 50 to us is damn, but 50 was just starting back then. That was literally like turning fucking 10.
Yeah.
Because why? Because 7 times 7 is 49. So you each 7 years you shifted through the chakras. So you weren't grown until 49. 50. Get what I'm saying? That's the 50 gates. That's why Erzuli's heart is the 50 gates of Erzuli. There's 50 things in the heart. That's the gateway. You know what I'm saying? So now, okay, so the 3 lower chakras, the root first 7 years, as I pointed out, where you hug, where you breastfed, where you in the crib, where you warm, that affects the first 7 years of you. Then the next 7 cycle is the sacral, and kind of selfishness kind of thing, or self-awareness. So did you have your own room? Did you have your hand-me-down from your brother? Did you have to sleep in the same bed, foot to toe? Did you have your own chair where you used to eat out of your own plate every night? You know, I had a sister, so we always had boy and girl. That what was mine was mine, so I didn't have no issue here. What was mine was mine, but you got 3 other brothers, different story perhaps. So that develops there. Then the solar chakra is from now you're 14. So 14, you start being aware of your friends and playing outside, and you're from 14 before 21, that's high school. So did you have Nikes? Were you popular? Did you get the prom queen? You know what I'm saying? Did they dunk your head in the toilet, get wedgies? Who were you? And 2 things could happen, because I said the chakras could go in both directions, overstimulated or understimulated. So 9 times out of 10, the push around guy from high school, because the next step is the heart, and there's no true development here. So if he was the nerd in high school, he can possibly be still the nerd and 9 times the nerd in the world, but he also may be the billionaire aggressive guy, because that chakra has the potential for going the other way. So he may have got wedgies in high school and stayed the nerd because of the wedgies, or got wedgies in high school and became a fucking billionaire because he got wedgies in high school. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, so those chakras can go both ways. So, but usually most people start judging their life from this chakra, skipping the heart. You get what I'm saying? So what's happening in the heart? So this is 21. This is graduating from college, they want to know what they want to give to the world, what they want to do. Most people don't want to be a nurse to give to heal people. They want to be a nurse because they can pass the fucking test and they like to pay. So they're not a nurse from the heart no more. They're a nurse for a paycheck. They're not an ambulance driver or whatever from the heart, which is supposed to happen in here where you pick your career, 21 to whatever. You know what I'm saying? And here's where you become wiser. Here's where you become more spiritual. And here's where you go home. You know what I'm saying? To make it quicker. But I want to just deal with the detail in here. Now, so what's supposed to happen and what should happen is here's where consciousness becomes born in you. You had your childhood down here with these chakras. Now you're supposed to be conscious, and some of us have, late in the game, but we're not talking, even though this follows a pattern, and I was following the pattern, but this doesn't happen. When people become conscious, motherfuckers be fucking 45, you know what I'm saying? So that you can't go by that, because they were doing humanity when it was going through these cycles. You get what I'm saying? But if you were doing straight the good work, this is where your childhood would be. And this is right here is at this age, 21, is where you get your rite of passage, because you're about to go into your heart chakra. So that's saying you're a man now, right? You're a man at age 21, because you're about to go into this. And really, what they made the character of Jesus is the attributes of this work. So your inner work is actually what Jesus' story is. That invented story is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to develop forgiveness, compassion, healing for your 3 lower chakras. My mother didn't hug me enough. I didn't get that. They threw my head in the toilet. They did that. I forgive me for not responding this way. I forgive them for doing that. Because if I'm trying to be more than human, how could I be mad at these humans? Because they were only human for doing that to another human. If I'm going to say this is an illusion, how could I be mad and say that happened and still hold a grudge and then move forward in my life because they did that and they did that? If I'm going to say, I don't think humanity is shit and I'm moving past it, how can I hold them responsible for the same crime I'm trying to escape from? I forgive them. I have compassion now because I understand my humanity, therefore understand their humanity and their level of understanding where they at. I forgive them and I am healed from this. I'm Christ, baby. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. And really those Christ attributes are what you're cultivating in the heart chakra to become pure of heart. Because now, as Christ in the picture points upward, as you move up to the other chakras with a pure heart, you tell truth to power. As Brother Panic has been doing. The one thing I haven't been doing is lying to you niggas. I'll tell you straight up, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And I love you. You got to pick which one you think is true. But either way, it's no lie. It's truth to power. And that's all I have. You know what I'm saying? What I see is real. See, because I can do this work without doing this work. But remember, I got beat up in high school. So what I see up here is the spirit is always trying to get you. You got to clean your house because there's bad spirits around you, because those bad spirits are nothing but your humanity lying to you. You let your ego come in up here. You're purified here, Christ, of the ego. I forgive you. The ego is only offended when it chooses offense. I forgive everyone. You held my head in the toilet. You punched me in the side of the eye, nigga. I still got a mark. I forgive you. I forgive you. I'm letting you go. I'm freeing you of it. This is the total Christ thing. I forgive myself for not responding. And this is how you start the ego has no place to go but to serve you now. So all And I tell people, you don't have to be poor in this motherfucker. Master it. You are now took the throne as God. Live as such. Use the tool down here to do whatever to make your ass the most comfortable you can. Don't be a poor righteous teacher, be a rich ass nigga righteous teacher. Sell all the cocoa butter you could muster, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Do what you can to be comfortable down here while you're down here. Know it, the true value is light. And never stop seeking or asking or feel you got it. Always be that student. You get what I'm saying? Humble yourself to yourself first. Yo, you know what I'm saying? My titties is crooked. You know what I'm saying? I never could grow armpit hair. I forgive myself. It's okay. I'm just a human, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a human. And all of this becomes purified as you do your 3 upper works. So what I receive here is true, or as true as it possibly can, or as clean as it can possibly be, because it's what you give is what you get. So it's coming from here. It's not coming from my humanity, because my humanity is nothing but a memory now. Get what I'm saying? These chakras exist and they work and they react. If I see a memory, oh shit, that's my nigga. So it ain't like it's invisible, but the context in which it hits my mind is so much different than my emotional system is not in it. And it's not a fakeness, it's a you just evolved. I don't know what to say. And you know that evolution can be disturbing to motherfuckers. So you try to keep, hey, but humanity is so small because your mind is becoming so massive with inside, and anyone could do it who has our light. We could do it. It's easy. I'm not saying it because I'm from Saturn or special. I'm saying it because you can do it too. As I wouldn't say, I'd be lying if I thought I came and I got something special. We all can do this shit. You just got to say you can. You got to see it. Who is it out there that you think is telling you doing it wrong? Who can possibly do that? Nothing. That's what Bobby was teaching at his essence. There's nothing to stop you from saying this is a can of soda. Who's going to say, no, come on, Panic. That's a human, socially we can all agree we can't drink from it. But your mind, my mind, if I was told all my life that it was a can of soda, would I be wrong? When I said, no, Rich, look, my mama told me, my mama's mama told me, this is a fucking can of soda. Would I be wrong? It's not real. So you can make it whatever you want, and you can make whatever you want. And we don't have to be none of these things. If more of us had this mind light awakening, the planet responds to that. You get what I'm saying? To that, what is dominating it? That Beelzebub, that Beetlejuice, keep wanting to go Beelzebub. That Beetlejuice light is actually a big ass boost. You get what I'm saying? And I think that light is one of the things that started making me see what a fifth dimensional feel is like. The pussy feel, the visualization, that's what's coming. And it was like, now here's the phenomenon. Like, we would come out of hotels, you ever just zone out and you're walking and your mind just goes away. So I'm thinking, what if I fell on that goddamn elevator shaft? What would Khadijah do? She would yell and be thinking how stupid that was. But then let me see if she had to call B.O.B. what he would do. What? Elevator, and you're going on and on. I said, damn, imagine when Rich got the news, Rich would make an announcement. Rich would probably say, fam. Rich would say, what the fuck am I doing? Then you wake up. Number one, 2 things. That was happening for me in a way where the scenarios was real. And that's what that alien was doing in Men in Black 3. he was seeing all of these scenarios. And I was like, our mind naturally does that because we're thinking of we're seeing one of our parallel realities. When you ever do it, zone out and then catch yourself, like zone out, like like you stabbed the nigga, like the guy said something, excuse me, bub, and you're like, oh, no problem. Then you think, damn, I should have said, fuck you, nigga, and punched him in the face. Then the cops would have came. I'd be in jail. Then I got to eat them sandwiches. Then what did you like? What the fuck am I doing while you're waiting online? Why does your mind do that?
Right.
Why does it do that? Because it is actually seeing those parallel universes. That's what that alien was doing at will. And he was called a fifth dimensional being. So after you're ready to graduate, like I said, me and Khadijah down here recruiting. We telling you it's not like we try, of course it wakes up minds, but in the end, I said, if you really listen to it, me and Khadijah really describing how it is our realm is. Yo, you got to do this, you got to be that, you got to be this. We're telling you what it is, because some people are like, Panic, I did all of that, I did that, I did this, I hear it, I see it. The things you said, I used to hear that. I just didn't know how to say it. And some people, yeah, that shit was cool, Panic. Yeah, I felt you. So some people, it's like the message resonates almost like they want to go there as if it's somewhere. And we'll be like, yeah, we had an ayahuasca weekend. Niggas start signing up for some shit we don't even recruit for. Yo, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. I'm like, there's no go. We just we just went away for the weekend. And I said, oh, because they're acclimating themselves. These are conscious people who were ready to get off this place and was looking for some place to go. So that's why some conscious people like Dr. Sabi, some conscious people like Dr. Africa, some conscious people follow this one or Bobby or this one, because they're going back, if they were in graduating mode with him, to learn in the cosmic essence what Bobby Hemming's still teaching. Same thing with Panic. Get what I'm saying? Recruiting for Brother Panic's world. I'm sure you met enough people. I don't have to say, Rich, that went Panic crazy when you like, and Panic. And let me say this: I love every one of them niggas. Them was my niggas. And I don't take it from my ego. You know what I'm saying? I know it's the words that they hear, so I don't take it as me personally. Like, y'all can carry me somewhere. I don't think y'all can pick me up like that. But what I would say is, I honor and I take my hat off to someone who would even listen to something I have to say. I do say it from the heart. I do mean it. I do think it's competent, and I've left enough competent shit behind. And, I'm honored anybody who does listen to it. So I never take that as an ego. But I do see y'all motherfuckers going Panic crazy. I've seen motherfuckers say something bad about me and motherfuckers killed them. I'm like, damn, I didn't know I was that good. Thank you. My esteem, you know what I mean? But my hat's off each time. You got to be humble to that. And each true teacher is here to make other teachers. You get what I'm saying? So I know we're here recruiting, but we're here to make other masters just like us. Pan energy all day. And so,
hey, Panic.
Get books for beginners. Yes, sir.
One quick question before we get out of here. I don't want to, based on what you just said. Being that you're dreaming this dream, like let's say you're dreaming this dream, and that nebula is really you, and you're just projecting this part of your consciousness down here. What connection is the subconscious to that nebula?
Well, first of all, what we know about our mind is interesting. 3 parts we can call it: conscious, subconscious, unconscious. So what's the name? Carl Jung kind of talked more on the unconscious collective and the nature of that as an aspect of the human mind that we can control in a certain kind of way. And what's his name? Id, ego, and super ego, Freud. They kind of put it in those three parts. But truth be known, we don't really know how expansive our mind really is and how much fragmented or whatever. But here's what we do know. And if we try to use the law of correspondence, as above, so below. So if we're looking at it from below, there's three parts below. So there might be three parts above, or it might be called Ein, Ein Sof, Ein Sofar. You get what I'm saying? And okay, so conscious, subconscious, unconscious. Unconscious can I've seen it classified as we have an agreement to breathe, to blink our eyes, our heartbeats without any thought that we're even aware of. So people without that thought, people say, oh, it's the creator doing that. You know what I'm saying? But in the occult, they say it was your unconscious mind. But see, sometimes in the occult, they'll say the unconscious and subconscious are the same thing. But the true deeper, there's a separation in just a little bit, and you can't really say that's what's happening, but they're trying to make a distinction. So basically what we know is this is how we don't really know your real mind from this perspective. You get what I'm saying? So, but the distinction is these three parts. So unconscious made all these decisions before you got here. Subconscious has a link in the unconscious world and the conscious world. So a fragment, or that 10% of your brain that you use supposedly, is your conscious mind, and it's your ego, because it's the part of your mind that had to develop to survive in this environment. Your ego flinches each time it's in trouble, because that's the nature of matter. So that 10% had to separate from the subconscious just to rock and roll, you can say. And it became your ego. And the thing we're trying to bring back to the fold, if you will, the lost sheep. So subconscious has that's the definition of the unconscious mind, loosely. Then and again, Carl Jung has his definition of it. Freud has his, because you'll find that breakdown more in psychiatry, but they got it from us, but that's where it showed up in psychiatry, the breakdown of this mind thing. So they'll do it in three parts all the time. So the subconscious in the occult, we know, is the key, because it can touch worlds unknown and bring it back where the conscious mind can interpret it. And we may not even understand the subconscious mind, but the conscious mind is constantly interpreting its own way through the ego, through crooked lenses. So that's why when you become spiritual from the heart, you're really the heart is connected to the subconscious mind. So you're getting a direct feed without the ego being in the way if you're doing the true work. You get what I'm saying? If you're thinking your way through it, let's say something spiritual comes down, you're funneling it through your ego. What you learn to do by dealing with the ego and understanding the concept is knowing how to connect the subconscious through the pure heart thing, through the chakras that I was telling you, to the direct subconscious mind. Around the times I was talking to Bobby, these are the connections I was making. You do it through the practice of astral traveling and lucid dreaming and meditation. And then, all of it kind of adds to it. And that's what is in my class, altars and candle burning and crystals and oils. That's why I give a little once over in all my classes, because all of those things got my heart, pure heart connection to to my mind working as one unison. So that's spiritual connection, where I have a direct connection that bypasses this guy named Larry. You get what I'm saying? This guy named Panic. So when I'm telling you, I'm speaking to you through this, so you hear Panic doing Panic shit, but he's telling you what came from the pure of heart. but he has to explain it to you how people with the window dressing. But because people couldn't sit there for 9 hours, me just sitting there going and da 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 this. So the animation comes from here, but the words in what's in when I'm teaching comes from here. And some of that shit I have listened to. I'm interested myself. I'm zoned the fuck out. I don't know what we even started with here and how long we've been going so far. Zone the fuck out. So I was going with that model, unconscious, subconscious, and conscious. Like they just what I teach is there are different roles and how key the subconscious is more than anything, because it's just that layer underneath that's running the show. It's the underworld. It's the realm of Osiris. It's where the dark goddess rules, the dark god rules. It's the darkness that brings forth the light. It's all symbolic of that. Your subconscious mind is Osiris. That 10% of your consciousness is his son. Horus trying to redeem his father, the subconscious. The father of all your true mind is your subconscious, but it's not in this realm with you. Only that 10% got caught. That represents that little bit of chakra light that got caught. So they're saying a piece of you got caught, you got 1 foot in that world and another foot in this world. So each time we go, we're bringing out inventions from other worlds. We're bringing through our subconscious mind pyramids here. We're bringing this here, but we forgot how to talk from the heart to the subconscious through our chakra work. So we don't know how to build pyramids no more because we're trying to think how to build pyramids. 5 + 5 - 7 = 2. We're trying to get it through here. And no doubt they had to use some form of intellect for the sake of geometry, but the fucking will of that shit in the design comes from the heart to here. You know what I'm saying? Hands raised, heart to here. These niggas don't know how to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I teach that shit thoroughly. And if I talk shit, it just sounds so egotistical and so narcissistic that I try to tone that shit down, but I know the shit that I'm trying to tell you work because I'm doing it. It's done. You know what I'm saying? I see so much shit, seen so much shit, you know what we got, and we realize, I'm telling you, America does not exist anymore. It's on fumes. It's been on fumes. Their greatest greatness was deception. They told you it was over when they put Trump in office. There's no more deception. Their veil has been pulled down. That's who they are. That's who America has always been. People, oh, Donald Trump said that. We just knew they always did that shit. The same crap to us. They just did it with smiles and called themselves working in your corner. It's fucking ridiculous. He just ain't got no coof, and all he is what they are without the fucking smile. So when they lose their smile, they can't even be America if they wanted to. Donald Trump has embarrassed them so fucking bad around the world. This is a fucking walking joke, this country. This is a laugh. It's always really been. It's not been because it's been a murderous, treacherous, whatever, but they still had to have that smile or that dignity. It's over. It's done. And I know conscious niggas should be rejoicing. Wasn't this shit what we were asking for? This is the end of this Western shit. I don't see how it's gonna be put back together. I don't do because if they say fuck it, let's just open everything up tomorrow. Panic your prediction. No, I don't do that kind of prediction shit. It just looked kind of like it's about to, it looks kind of like that's that. You know what I'm saying? So chakra work, get your books. You know what I'm saying? Get my book if you like, if you got the little bit of change. And listen, let me say this. You're going to have to wait. Ooh, let me show. Oh, we'll end with my share screen. But you can contact me, for those who don't know, occultlectures.com, or if you just Google Brother Panic, you'll find everything, the first page of Google. I have herb packs to help with meditation. They're 20 years deep. My product, I will not lie, take a long time to come. know what I'm saying? I'm the only one that touches them, me and my son. I don't have a factory. It's us. We're spiritual. We send everybody what they get, but you just order in advance. I'll tell you that now. Classes, so on and such, occultlectures.com, blah, blah, blah. And I just want to share this one thing, Rich, and I'll let you sign off if you don't mind.
Okay, cool.
If I share this screen, this is also a debut on Brother Rich's
Let's go.
channel. My opening done by my nephew. Booyah. Let me stop the share.
That's dope.
So that's my new intro. And real OGs know what that's from. Like, you know, real OGs, MC Shan, I showed it to him. That nigga said, because there was a TV show on Channel 11 back in the days. The actual shit, but it would say chiller underneath. And when that shit came on, you knew that was it. You know what I'm saying? So OGs, they're gonna know that. So that's the update. My nephew did it. That I wanted to debut it on Brother Rich's show. Thank you, Brother Rich.
Yes, sir. Yo, Panic. Yo, amazing build, my brother. I definitely appreciate it. I know that people gonna honor this and utilize this to their fullest capacity. And I look forward to the show on Friday on YouTube. And I'll text you tomorrow so we can confirm everything.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, brother.
Sounds good. All right, Rich. Peace. Talk to